Hey guys, it's Zach here. I wanted to discuss with you today some things about online debating, but this goes for any type of debate or discussion. There's other words I could try to come up with, but any sort of communication that's geared towards uh, two differing opinions or beliefs about something coming together and communicating about what is correct or what is better. It doesn't have to always end in one side being right and the other being wrong, though. It can be simply, a debate can simply be for the purpose of sharing those views, and you can conclude to agree to disagree. But when it comes to certain topics, there's going to be a right and there's going to be a wrong. Um, and if there's enough evidence and not enough on the other side, it's pretty clear who's right and who's wrong. But of course, down the road, evidence in the form of scientific studies and stuff can come out that would then sort of re-establish what is correct. So the excuse me, the main point that one would have to keep in mind is that if you're truly coming from a place of having your opinion based on fact and not being emotionally invested in a specific stance, you're not going to get caught up in being right. You're going to be interested in what is right, and then uh, adhering to that. So coming into that. So what I mean is, if you believed that the Earth was flat, and the evidence came out scientifically that it clearly wasn't flat, you would adopt that new belief because that's what's the most logical, and it's not harming anyone. It's the only thing it's harming is the sort of centric belief that the Earth was central to the universe. So one topic in particular that's coming to mind, and I see the video screen's frozen here. It's probably going to end up in the actual video that gets posted that'll have been frozen for a sec, but I think you can still hear me because it records the sound when it does this, but the video gets frozen. We'll be back in a sec, I'm sure. There it is. So, what was I saying? Right, sort of centric to your ideas. If someone, the specific topic I'm thinking of is gender studies, and something that I'm very interested in. I've taken a great deal of my time, and it's not even related to my business, so it's not like I get any financial reimbursement for doing this kind of research, but it's just something I'm interested in, is sort of gender issues. So that's a wide topic, but specifically looking at the ideas of feminism versus sort of the emerging ideas of the men's rights movement, which is sort of counter to that. And I'm not going to go into my beliefs about that here, or my understanding of that, but that's something that I was talking with people online recently, and have been for a while, and it's the one topic that I get the most intense response about out of anything that I've discussed with people. So even vegans who tend to be very emotionally volatile about discussing their beliefs about diet, I'm not saying all vegans, but for some reason that group, could be a nutritional deficiency or something like that, they have a very hard time having someone that has a well-researched differing opinion to theirs, and they can get very volatile, like I was saying. It's the emotional involvement in the belief system as opposed to a being involved in the science and adhering to the science, not your personal identity you've built up that's related to that. So what I find with people in the gender studies arena is they've gone to university for perhaps and studied this as a major or minor part of their degree. They've just spent so many years believing this. They've been surrounded with people that believe these types of things. And what happens is that when you have a differing of an opinion, and you happen to be one that they've never heard before, they get pretty ticked off if they can't respond with evidence. So this is causing them hurt on some level because they're emotionally attached to their conclusion, their belief system in their mind. So to debate properly, you have to completely remove yourself emotionally from what it is you currently believe. So you are not your beliefs. You are you. You are nothing, really, if you want to get metaphysical about it. But what you believe religiously, spiritually, socially, politically, all these things aren't you. So when you come up against someone that happens to think differently and you end up in a discussion about it, you're going to be a lot better off at communicating your point of view if you don't fall into personal attacks on that person, belittling their points of view, uh, belittling the information they're putting out. So that's saying, oh, well, that's just that information that comes from that source. Like, common one is, oh, that's the Weston Price Foundation. They're totally paid off by farmers, and they have vested interests. It's like, well, there's also farmers that grow soy, wheat, and lots of plant foods that have money to put into science as well. I'm not saying the Weston Price Foundation is even fueled by farmers' income, because they publicly say they're not. But that's just an example that you can't attack the organization or the research. You have to attack the points. So if you're discussing anything with anyone, whether, like I said, it's religion, politics, social issues, gender issues, you need to have your facts clear, and you let them do the attacking. So you're not attacking the person, you're attacking the facts. And there's a aggressive sort of warring, fighting type mentality about this, and that's what a lot of people can't handle. Is a debate brings up that energy of aggression a little bit and fighting, but it's not the people that are fighting, it's the science and the points. Whatever ends up being still standing at the end is what wins. And this is not a bad thing. This is how science progresses. This is how our understanding of social issues progresses. So if you're watching this and interested in communicating with people about anything, I definitely recommend that you take some of my ideas that I'm speaking about here into context and just think about perhaps past times when you resorted to emotional outburst for having a different point of view, or for someone else having a different point of view rather, or falling into that place of just trying to push mentally or intellectually your idea on someone without actually using the facts as the thing that is doing the pushing. So yeah, I think that concludes everything I wanted to say on that topic. It just really shocks me the places people go, and the two things that I take into account in my life is most people are familiar with the golden rule, but most people aren't familiar with the silver rule, which if the golden rule is this, the silver rule is this. So the golden rule is it's sort of the idea that Jesus said, that supposable mythological figure, Jesus the Christ, said to, if someone slaps your cheek, give them the other one to slap. So it's, if someone's coming at you with some sort of aggression or personal attack or anything of that nature, you let it go and you don't let it faze you, and you basically allow them to continue doing it if they want to keep doing it. And that has its place. That's sort of the Gandhi type idea of non-violent protest. And that, like I said, has its place. I follow that in my life. Like, if someone says something random to me on the street or online, I don't take offense. I just let it slide off me like water on a raincoat. Like a drop of water on anything that doesn't absorb water. And so the golden rule is talked about in some religions and spiritual traditions, but it does not apply all the time. And I think anyone that adheres to it too much becomes sort of the spiritual victim, the spiritual aloof personality type. So they allow things to come in, whether it's a physical attack. I mean, with a physical attack, it's serious, because you can't, if someone slaps your cheek, that's one thing. If someone's coming at you with a knife, you're going to let them stab you and say, okay, now stab me on the other side. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So physical attack, obviously, the golden rule shouldn't apply. You have to stand up for yourself and defend yourself. But verbal attack, there's this place for it because, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. But when someone is continuously, non-endingly coming at you, trying to discredit you, slander you, and in the context of a debate, if they continually are degenerating the discussion down to a level of ridiculing your thoughts and ideas without actually providing any evidence to counter it, you can either, one, walk away and don't do that. But, some people go on the border of, yes, they're going to respond to something, but then they throw little jabs in there. What, personally, I found very effective and necessary, and this usually ends up ending this discussion because people get so pissed off, you have to bring in the silver rule, which is what comes in at you, you deal out equally in return. So that's if someone is saying anything negatively to you, you kind of point it out first, and then you respond with that. And again, I only resort to that when things degenerate, and people need to be woken up. And they're not going to wake up then. They might wake up down the road, years down the road, and think back to that time. But, it's necessary sometimes to bring that out. And I just wanted to let you know about that. So, post any comments you have below. Let me know what you think. I'm also going to use this video just to send to people who happen to be unable to follow sort of the basic ideas of a normal debate. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you later.